I think this is a lot of people's life verse. Because oftentimes we look at life and we're just like, all things work together for good, you know? But we don't really know. We kind of say it in ambiguity or in an unsureness or an insecure way, yet we rely on it and we hold on to it. So I'm going to tell you guys today how God can work through this, how God can make himself clear through this verse, even clearer than how it is right now. If it's murky or ambiguous or a little vague for you, I'm going to teach you guys, or not teach you guys, I'm going to talk to you guys about how we can do this. Okay. Milestones. Milestones in life. Milestones are key points in your life that you remember. There aren't a lot of them, right? If you're trekking along a trek, if you were walking along a trek and you reach a certain checkpoint, if you played a racing video game, if you played an adventure game, I'm a very big nerd, I'm sorry. If you played Halo, cool with the body guys now. Anyway, if you reach a certain checkpoint and you want to get there so that you can keep going. Or if you're playing a racing game, you want to hit the checkpoint so that you can keep going and not get ripped off at Dave & Buster's for $3.25 a game. That's such the greatest marketing gimmick. They have it like on those power cards now. They count them as credits, so you really don't know how much you're paying for the game now. Anyway, smart guy. So you're going along, and then you reach a certain point, and you're just going through hell. You're going through something in your life, a breakup, a relationship, a job change, a career change. Something happens in the family, and you're going along, and that happens to you, and then you make it through. You drop a milestone, okay? You drop the stone that you've been carrying, and now you can walk on. Maybe you'll pick one up on the way to your next point. Maybe you won't, but I'm hoping that you will. So you drop it along. So you're laying down these milestones throughout your life, and you look back, and you can't really see your tracks of how many steps that you've taken. You can't really see your adversity and the opposition that you face, because it may have been slayed. Maybe there's like a dead carcass of like the bad girlfriend monster or something like that, or the bad boyfriend monster. But you can. What can you see though? You can see those stones that you dropped. You can see those things that you got through. Those reminders of what helped you get through life. So here's the thing: promises, milestones in your life. They're not as many as the things and the conflict that happens in your life. You guys, throughout life, we are underdogs. Throughout life, we rely on a few things that people have spoken to us, a promise that has been made to us by God or by another person. If someone has ever spoken over you in prophecy, if someone has ever encouraged you in life by bestowing grace upon you and telling you to fulfill your dream, or telling you that you're going to make it in something, you hold on to that. And how many times does that happen compared to somebody telling you that you're a loser? Or you're going to be just like your father, grandfather, mother. If the generations go against you, how can you fight that? How can you fight that? There's only one way to fight that. That's through a promise from God. That's through someone bestowing grace, someone telling you and encouraging you. That's why I encourage you, if you're not involved in a community with a positive outlook, with a Christ-centered outlook, with a Christ-centered focus, I encourage you to get involved. Because you can speak to a lot of people here, over half of the people here, and they will tell you that's what they found. And they will tell you that's what helped them get through. I want to give you guys a brief snapshot of something that's happened in my life. When I was born, first of all, it's kind of minor, but also very common. A lot of babies are born with jaundice. It's like when your liver isn't really developed, and you're like super yellow, like Iron Man, and they put you under like a heat lamp or something, some type of like incubating process that helps you, develop even faster. But I was thinking about that, and I was just like, even from the beginning stages of life with genetics, birth defects, a lot of that kind of stuff, the opposition goes against us, even as a natural cause. So I'm thinking about my life, okay? I have this timeline drawn out. It hasn't been updated since probably last, October of 2006, but I do need to update it. So I have this timeline. I'm not going to take you guys through everything, but when I was very young, my parents got divorced around 1986. And as a child, you kind of really don't know what's going on. I was 3 years old, 6 years old, still not really back together. But you see the scarring and you see the torment. And you see the emotional battle going on within your mom and your dad. You don't really understand it. And by the grace of God, I'm very happy to say that they remarried in 1989. Okay, that they get back together. But that doesn't mean that everything's fine, everything's dandy, because old stuff still gets brought up. And I'm talking like it's you and me right now, okay? I'm talking like it's you and me right now, so I'm being very real with you. So you go through this whole thing of growing up, and when you're that young and you see all this happen, you really don't know what's going on. All you know is that you're hurting, and it hurts you, and it affects you. You can't stand seeing people cry. You can't stand seeing people yell at each other. Okay? What can you do at an age like that? What can you do? So, going along, you just start noticing a lot of stuff in your family. You start noticing a lot of things, a lot of broken and hurt relationships, a lot of strife, and a lot of you just need healing. Okay, and throughout that process, I was in a Christian school. Had some very great friends. I was involved here also at this church when I was in junior high and elementary school. So that's what helped me keep me spiritually grounded. But I'm going through the whole casual Christian cycle of hitting these slopes. Throughout high school, I've had relationships where it ended up in heartbreak or just confusion. Being stabbed in the back by people, and you got to learn how to forgive. You got to remember how to love and forgive people. So like brokenness runs through everybody's life, not only mine, but I know it goes through your guys'. And if it doesn't, then teach me your secret, okay? So then I get to college, and like I said, I'm living this life of up and down, up and down, up and down, like a lot of us do. And so I get to college, and I go to this men's retreat here at this church. It's called Men's Encounter, 2003. It was in May, and they're doing this service, this thing for all this men, and we go on a retreat in Orange County. And then I was talking, I was heavily in worship, and God speaks to me like it was clearer than that. And if you were in Sunday morning church today, you would talk about how Pastor John teaches you how God speaks to you, or he kind of gives you a little advice on how he does it, or how to do it, how to listen. And God spoke to me so clearly, and He said, "Marlon, the buck stops here," and He says, "It stops at you. You are golden." And I was just like, okay. I'm thinking about this, like, what does this mean? So I'm thinking, generational sins, if you don't believe in them, that's fine. We'll talk later. It really doesn't matter. Some people don't believe it, some people do. But I do believe that there are habits that are subconsciously picked up by previous generations to their children, by their children. And we subconsciously pick it up, and we take it as normal, and we take it as okay. Because my father was like this, because my mother was like this. Okay? And we pick that up. And God says, "Marlon, it stops right here with you. Any type of messing around, jacking around that's been going on in your family in the past, you're breaking the mold." I'm not here, and I'm not, in no way am I praising myself, or in no way am I telling myself, "Oh yeah, I'm good to go," and walking around with very cocky with my nose up. But what I am saying is that God has made a promise to each and every one of you in the past. I know that He has. Because you all have gone through something. Okay? When I was a child, my mom would always drop me off at school. This is a time when my parents were separated. And my mom would always have me say 2 verses to her before I left the car. And that was, "Greater is He that is in me than he who is in the world, and I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength." Every time she dropped me off at home, at school, at home. Peace. Hope you can reach the microwave. Put my GI Joes in there and stuff. Anyway, there's so many bad things. I still apologize to my mother today. So she, and those are the 2 verses. So I'm talking about passages here, and I was thinking about that, and I was kind of thinking, a couple months ago before Jared started this whole series, I was like, what has gotten me through life? What has gotten me through life? So I was like, greater is He that is in me than he who is in the world. Okay, and I tied that with what God told me in 2003 of how He's going to break the mold with me, and how generations from the Reynoso bloodline from here on out, it's going to be a brand new start, and it's going to be a brand new legacy. Okay, whatchamacallit? Jeez, guys, the odds are against us. Okay, I'm thinking about how. And if you look in the Old Testament, how everybody in the Old Testament, every type of army, any type of battle that God sent people to, the numbers were always against them. Prophets who were always surrounded. Prophets who had to prove themselves in front of other idol worshippers were always had the odds against them, always had this tough opposition. But they relied on God. They were faithful to God because they knew that God was faithful. Okay? That's the Old Testament. New Testament, Jesus and the 12 disciples. Jesus, 12 disciples, against who? Against the crowds, against the mobs. Jesus leaves. Disciples, yeah, there were more than 12, technically, but these main 12, okay, who we know were martyred. The odds were against them. The crowd